Recording. We are good to go. All right. Good morning. It's that time. Great start, dude. Great start.
It's what time?
It's that time again. Episode 3 of the Thunderpod.
I'm Liv Lyons.
And I am Mavry. Today is February 24th, 2025, and we are back after a few weeks. Last episode, we went over what was happening around Highline and what our Thunderword reporters have been up to. Today, we're here for a short little rundown of what is to come in the next few weeks.
We're officially in week 8, which is more than halfway through. This winter quarter has been a doozy, but I'm glad we're close to wrapping it up.
It has been a pretty eventful winter quarter. How have you been handling the winter quarter?
You know what? It's been a lot, but I'm glad that it's happening. We're both taking a math class.
Yes, we are.
And I think we're both doing pretty well in it, so that's pretty encouraging.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best math classes I've had. I'm really enjoying the teacher.
Knock on wood. I think it's going to end up pretty great, too. Also, I just changed my name.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone caught that.
Yes, I am going by Liv Lyons. Pronouns still for the time, they, them. But yes, I am transitioning, and that is my new name, Liv.
So happy for you.
Thank you very much.
It's a beautiful name. Is it short for Olivia, or is it just Liv?
I chose Liv. I would be lying if I said the opportunity for all of the puns was not a slight variable in choosing it. So I will live another day.
You'll live it up.
Live it up. My student email still says Cam, though. So for any correspondence or anything with the Thunderpod, you may see the name. So though every person has a different relationship with their dead name, I am still having my old student name while I figure that out. But for the time being, if you do see me in public, feel free to refer to me as Liv.
Sweet. That's amazing. Very happy for you.
Thank you.
A few other recent updates. A big change on campus, some might have noticed, is the sudden departure of the Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Emily Lardner, after 6 years with the college. Dean Liz Word has stepped up as acting VPAA until March 3rd, when Dr. Relita Izonu of Green River will take over until December 30th. The search for a permanent VPAA will be conducted by our hiring panel of both faculty and staff from all different areas of campus. The hope is to have that search completed by the end of Dr. Izono's tenure.
You actually had an article last week about the departure of Dr. Emily Lardner, and we have a coming piece with some more information that I, for one, am very excited to have published. But you've been putting in some hours on that. This is some pretty important stuff.
Yeah, I've been reporting on that for a while. Although her termination wasn't very clear to the faculty and staff, there are many factors. And so look forward to more information concerning that situation coming out in the Thunderword in the next 2 weeks.
All right, starting with Monday, February 24th, new student enrollment is officially open. Anyone hoping to join the Thunderbirds are now free to do so.
For continuing students, registration is also open, so be sure to get into classes before they fill up. Might I suggest journalism? Be a part of the pod. Be a part of the newspaper.
Oh yeah, there's never been such a good time to join the Thunderword, not just because of a budgeting new podcast, but the newspaper and the publication are actively growing. And I've been here for a little over a year, and this is the busiest with the most active writers, and it really does feel like the time to be a part of a still ever-growing thing.
It's a good training ground for you to kind of explore your interests in a low-stakes environment. With registration open, Journalism 101 or Journalism 105 for our writers and photojournalists.
Yeah, speaking of pursuing creativity in writing, today is the last day to submit written or visual art for this year's edition of Arcturus, the annual literary magazine that Highline students publish each year. Once all the submissions are in, the team of student editors will work on formatting and designing and the layout of the booklet itself to be published in this spring quarter.
Heck yeah, that's going to be cool.
Have you submitted?
No.
What?
I don't have much fiction that I am comfortable sharing at the moment.
That is valid.
Yeah, I need to kind of get it together on my fiction. I need to do more fiction writing.
Hey, starts with one. For anybody else listening, you are highly encouraged to submit.
That's fair. So all of that takes place today, Monday the 24th. Tomorrow is Tuesday, February 25th, the Global Student Ambassadors are hosting an Arts Around the World event, open to all students to create and keep little crafts like henna, papel Picasso, and more. That takes place from 2 to 4 in Building 8, Mount Townsend Room.
And then Trio, along with Career and Transfer Services, are hosting Handshake and Connect. Handshake is a new career platform for jobs, internships, and networking for college students that takes place from 2 to 3 in Building 8 in Mount Constance.
All right. Along those lines, Workforce Education Services, a funding and support department on campus, is holding an application workshop via Zoom from 4 to 6. Anyone who's in search of supplemental funding options as well as help getting into Canvas, CTC, or even student email can attend and reach out. They have multiple language support sessions including Spanish, Somalian, Arabic, Russian, and more. The link to their homepage and the Zoom session will be in the show notes. The first of these events will be tomorrow on Tuesday, with supplemental workshops taking place on Saturday in other languages.
Then next is Wednesday, February 26th, with the Q Games. The Q Center holds a woo-woo is right. The Q Center holds a game day open to all students and staff for board games, card games, Jenga, and more. I wonder if we could bring our own board games.
I would certainly hope so. I would be down to bring in my new book shelving board game called Ex Libris.
That's Latin, right?
It is Latin. I don't know what it means.
For out of the book.
Out of the book,
If
okay.
I'm properly trusting the Lemony Snicket I read as a kid. I remember that's what it said.
Hey, you learn from books either way.
You learn from... So it's a book board game?
The premise is you are a bookstore owner, and you have these little assistants that go and collect book cards for you. And then from those book cards in your hand, you have to shelve them appropriately for points at the end of the game. The cards themselves are so cute. There's over 500 unique books illustrated on these cards.
And are they real books, or were they created for the game?
They were created for the game.
Jeez.
So it's very funny. It's just so cute, and it's gorgeous art, and it's super easy. We've been playing it a lot lately. So I wonder if we could bring that into the Q Games.
I will have a Settlers of Catan tucked away somewhere, and if that's possible, we'll both be bringing our favorites in.
I do have the expansion pack for that.
You lucky duck.
I have the 5 to 6 player expansion pack for that, so maybe we can get a bigger party together.
Yes, we might drop by this Wednesday.
Yeah.
By the way, that does take place from 11:30 to 1, right? In Building 8, Room 301?
Yeah, Room 301 is the top floor of the Student Union. Later that day, on Wednesday, there's a Running Start info session being held for prospective students and families. This is an optional event and is not the same as the Running Start new student orientation. That is for students already enrolled. The info session is for students and families wanting to learn more about the program, its benefits, eligibility requirements, and how to enroll. That takes place in the evening from 6 to 7 in Building 8, Room 132.
Then the next day, Thursday, February 27th, there is a resume and cover letter workshop for those trying to get into their respective workforces. This workshop is more than just learning tips for a polished resume, but attendees will also get hands-on assistance. So bring your resume, your Indeed profile, or just a list of experience and volunteer work. That takes place from 10 to 11:30 in Building 29 in Room 308.
Perfect. And rounding out this week of Week 8, Friday, February 28th, that is the last day to withdraw from classes to protect your GPA. If you're struggling with a class or you need to clear your plate a little, the time to make that decision is coming up. The great thing about college is that if one class doesn't work for you, you can find another one that does to meet whichever requirement or elective you need. If you need help with that decision, instructors, faculty advisors, and counselors are happy to assist you in looking at what you have going on and making a plan going forward.
This is definitely one of those things that waiting does not help. Definitely talk about it as soon as you can with one of those experts here at the school that are available to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's happening in Week 9, we got a pretty chill day, Monday, March 3rd, but the following Tuesday on March 4th, we'll see Ramadan nights. Iftar gathering is taking place. It's open to everyone of all cultures and faiths to experience a session with the imam, learn about the significance of Ramadan in the Muslim faith and how it's observed. They'll break fast together and sharing that experience with others for a deeper connection to the tradition. Join that from 4 to 7 in Building 8 in Mount Constance.
All right. The next day, Wednesday, March 5th, TRIO is hosting the University of Washington Martin Scholarship Info Session. This is open to any student who's interested in transferring to the UW Seattle. If that is your plan for fall 2025, I'd highly recommend registering for that. Link will be in the show notes. If you're considering it for fall of 2026 and you still aren't completely sure, this is a great chance to ask some preliminary questions to help you make that decision. That takes place from 2 to 3 in Building 8, Mount Skokomish Room.
Then Thursday, March 6th, Highline is hosting an interview skills bootcamp offering practical tips, interactive practice, and feedback to prepare students for real-world interviews. That takes place from 10:30 to noon in Building 8, Mount Constance. Then looking ahead, the quarter's almost over.
It is. It's week 8 out of 11. Last day of classroom instruction is Monday, March 17th, and that is only 21 days away. I know, right?
Oof.
And finals happening all that week. So we're gone for spring break from the 24th to the 28th. Campus will reconvene for spring quarter on the 31st. Gosh, that's such a short break.
Almost as short as this quarter, which seems to have zipped by.
I know. Winter does seem like one of the surprisingly shortest seasons.
Yeah. It's maybe thankfully, because I've had a little bit of ice sliding experience whenever I've been in the car. But that's just because I'm a native Californian, and it's still weird to me.
I am a native Georgian and Floridian, too,
yeah.
so I get it. The cold is not my friend, but I love the snow.
It's great.
It's gorgeous.
I love looking at it from the window while I have hot chocolate. And I am in at least 8 Snuggies.
Nice.
So on the tail end of this episode of the podcast, we were talking earlier this week about how strong our riders are this quarter.
Mm-hmm. We have an excellent edition coming out this week.
We do.
You actually have a piece coming out this week covering the plane crashes that we've seen.
I do. If you haven't been noticing, there have been a myriad of really tragic plane crashes that have occurred since the kind of gutting of both the funding and a lot of the personnel of the FAA and a lot of the administration that was dedicated to safety of flights. We're doing some digging, and we'll have a very in-depth article for you guys this coming week.
So what else do we have coming out?
We actually have a lot of really good articles, especially from our newer writers. We have one on Umoja's 4th Annual Black Business Expo.
Another one of our writers, Stacey Barnes, has a piece coming out covering the new sheriff in town. Seattle just elected a new sheriff, and Stacey Barnes has the latest on that.
If you've been following pop culture at all, you can see a recap of the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary show, which had a Friday concert that was like 3 hours long, and then a whole SNL episode that was 2.5 hours long.
The entire entertainment industry was in attendance.
Imagine a famous person, they're there. And on the subject of pop culture, expect to hear some news on Kanye West, an article that is currently in motion from one of our newer writers.
Yeah, there is no shortage of drama when it comes to the West family.
That's true. It's a little bit mirroring the U.S. right now. So
I know. It just depends on like what type of drama do you want. Do you want political drama? Do you want celebrity drama? I did have a question for you going back to an old story of ours. Are you still on Red Note?
I am.
You are? How is that? Is that still popping?
You know what? There are some creators that moved over there that I think are still kind of embracing it.
Nice. I know a lot of people kind of got rid of their TikTok for good at the beginning of the winter quarter when the ban was taking place.
Yeah, I was never much of a TikToker to begin with, so I am a little bit of a lurker there. Not posting a ton, but instead just lurking. And I think when we had spoken about it last time, I had mentioned that it seemed pretty easygoing and people were pretty benevolent on Red Note, and I was hoping that it wouldn't go the way of many things on the internet and kind of become a cesspool. And I'm pleased to say that it's still pretty positive, if not uneventful.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's all we have for you. We went over what's happening in the next few weeks. We went over this week's edition of the Thunderword. We will be having at least one more episode of the Thunderpod this quarter. It's going to be sort of a wrap-up for the winter quarter, our favorite articles that we published, how we feel about how the quarter went down and everything. So look forward to that. And I think that's it.
If you have any interest in the news, or if there's anything not being covered that you would like a spotlight on, you are free to email us or to comment on anything with the podcast at Thunderword at highline.edu.
Okay, I think that's all we have for you. So everyone, have a wonderful rest of your week.
I've been Liv.
This is Mavry.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.
The Thunderpod was created by the Thunderword team, Kara Stewart, Mavry Durham, and Liv Lyons. It is produced by Mavry and Liv. Associate producer is Rachel Stewart. It is edited by myself, Mavry.